back. There'll be time for the witness in a moment. Dr. Murphy is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm not interested in re-adjudicating the 2020 election. It's done. It's done. I'm going to like to submit for the record an opinion piece from the Wall Street Journal. Zuckerbucks shouldn't pay for elections.
Without objection.
I just want to read the first line. The 2020 pandemic election wasn't stolen, but it sure was a super spreader of bad precedents. Okay? That's just where we're going to start with. And I think that is a very bipartisan statement. You know, I don't think I agree with Ms. Sewell's several of her comments. I don't want this. I think we need to help our rural areas and understaffed areas, absolutely. But it is an absolute uncontroverted fact that Zuckerbucks, through the millions and millions of dollars that went to one side versus the other. I mean, with what Mr. Griffiths just stated, the numbers, the amount that were said, you can't. The facts are not up to debate on those individuals, on those places. And so I'd love us to not have any outside interference. God forbid we're going to have it from China, we're going to have it from Russia. We don't need it from our own huge wealthy individuals that want to play, puppeteer to what's happening with the masses. We want these free, we want these fair elections in the United States. We go around the world touting that we want to be able to monitor elections in other countries. That's nonsense when we can't really handle our own, with so many different forces that go through there. Mr. Walter, if I can, you had mentioned a few North Carolina counties. North Carolina is obviously my home state. In this past election year, Governor Cooper, Democrat Governor Cooper, tried to veto the Senate Bill 747, which basically banned the Zuckerbucks, banned outside interference. Of course, fortunately, it was overridden. It was just it was election reforms, basically not allowing this nonsense. I wonder if you could extrapolate or expand on that a little bit in some of the counties in North Carolina.
Well, a couple things I would say. One is that, again, the majority of American states have voted to ban or restrict private funding of elections. I'm not aware of a single state anywhere that has ever even attempted to make it legal to do such a thing. So, again,
now, it's my understanding that Zuckerberg has said he's not going to do this again.
He has. Now, the unfortunate problem is the Center for Tech and Civic Life has not given up. And so, as I said, they concocted a rebranding of themselves, Alliance for Election Excellence. And there's, you may want to enter into the record the excellent report on what happened in North Carolina that the John Locke Foundation and Honest Elections Project produced, with internal emails from things like Brunswick County, where they were colluding with the Center for Tech and Civic Life. In fact, they were you had election officials publishing over their name op-eds that in fact were written by the Center for Tech and Civic Life. So again, you see this insidious infiltration and manipulation.
It's just unfortunate because I want voting to be fair. I think everybody in this room, bipartisan, absolutely, we want it to be fair. We want people to be able to present their ideas of what is right, what they believe, rather than having interference from people of telephone calls or any other type of things. It is just sad here in this particular instance, and this is what this committee is meeting about today, is that Mark Zuckerberg, through his wealth, tried to influence things to one partisan side. I was just reading an article about what his charities are, and they're primarily Democratic. I mean, that's just a fact. People can have their own charities one way or the other. It's just what they do. It's not an issue, it's their money. But the fact that this is being done one particular side versus the other in an election is wrong, period, point blank. And I would say the exact same thing. if it were a Republican person. I promise you I would say the exact same thing. And this does belie the fact that Americans now overwhelmingly question what's going on in our election. Again, this is not to re-adjudicate the 2020 election, but it is the purpose of this committee and this Congress is to help restore confidence for all Americans, regardless of their political proclivities, is to restore that to our country. So thank you, Mr. Chairman. With that, I'll yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Ms. Torres is recognized for 5 minutes.